Ever stop to think how much those little impulse buys on your phone are adding up to, and how many subscription payments are sneaking out of your bank account every single month? Before I started using Rocket Money, let me tell you, I had no idea. But the first time I logged in, I saved $435. I couldn't believe it. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that helps you find and cancel your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps lower your bills so you can grow your savings. I just love the dashboard. It shows everything in one place, even the subscriptions you forgot you signed up for. And if there's something you don't need, Rocket Money helps you cancel it. Plus, it alerts you if a bill increases or if something unusual pops up in your account. It's basically like having a personal assistant for your money. Cancel your unwanted subscriptions and reach your financial goals faster with Rocket Money. Go to rocketmoney.com/Kim today. That's rocketmoney.com/Kim. rocketmoney.com/Kim.
Hey, welcome to the Kim Komando Show podcast for the weekend of July 1st, 2023. As always, we want to get started and thank you for being a Komando community member. Here is hour one.
I always like to kick things off with something that's really interesting, and it actually happened twice over the last month. Tourists outside of Kona, they drove their car right into the harbor after following Google Maps. Like, what's going on with that? Well, a local Hawaiian, he had a good laugh about it all, and he decided, hey, this sounds like a great money-making opportunity. So Louis de Alba made some T-shirts. I survived the Honikawa Harbor Ramp shirts, and he put the GPS coordinates on them just for good measure. And he says they're selling faster than would you believe Taylor Swift tickets. All right, maybe not that fast. He started out with about 15 shirts, and now he says it's just blowing up. 5 people reached out about the T-shirts in about an hour. Yeah, I don't know if they're exactly blowing up 5 people in an hour. But anyway, good for him. Absolutely. Hey, speaking of GPS systems, I always thought that it was a missed opportunity because instead of just saying, hey, you have reached your destination, what we really should have had on our GPS system saying, whoop, there it is. Wouldn't that be so funny? Hey, listen, are you ready to up your tech IQ? Because our first-timer listeners, we're so thrilled to have you. And then for your a loyal listener, welcome back. Because after all, I'm Kim Komando, America's beloved digital goddess, here with you once again. And it is the biggest show, the most awesomest show, the most trusted show about all things digital. And you can catch my award-winning show on over 420 leading U.S. radio stations, or we're streaming in your favorite radio app. Just search for My Last Name Komando. And if you want an ad-free experience, you can get the podcast and webcast over at Komando.com. Just hit that big old yellow button in the top right of the homepage. It says Komando Community. And yes, you heard it right, commercial free. And a big hello and salute goes out to all of our listeners on the American Forces Network Radio, reaching over 375,000 U.S. service members serving in 175 countries. I just love this. 200 ships at sea get the Kim Komando Show. And I know that you have a few questions about something digital I can lend a hand to, and that's why our T-Mobile Unlimited listener line is now open at 1-888-825-5254. Now, let me just tell you something. If you need immediate tech support, I want you to reach out to my team of tech experts over at GetKimsHelp.com. Once again, that's GetKimsHelp.com. So if you need help with your Wi-Fi, your printer, setting up maybe a new phone, whatever it is, head over to GetKimsHelp.com. Alrighty, every single day I drop by at least 30 different websites to make sure that you and I are both up to date on everything that's happening in the tech universe. And here are 5 things that you need to know right now. And we're going to start with Communist China. They're not our friend, okay? They spy on our military. They steal our business trade secrets. They're taking over our kids with TikTok. Well, you might remember back in February, we had that big old Chinese spy balloon. It flew just right over our country. Crazy stuff, collecting sensitive data to send back to China. Well, a new report out this past week, they do believe that the Chinese spy balloon collected video and audio, but luckily, none of this was transported back to China. What? Yeah, this is different than what was said back in February, because then the U.S. government said that the balloons could transport the data in real time to China. Now, the U.S. is unsure if it was a glitch or maybe that our countermeasures actually worked. Also, this balloon was built with American parts, a lot of them. Now, nobody can confirm if any of these American parts were sold illegally, but you've got to wonder, what the heck was going on here? And how did China get some of our tech? I know, they stole it, right? Hey, by the way, selling certain items like chips to specific Chinese markets, yeah, that's illegal. And number 2 on our list of 5 things is tricky Amazon. So if you've been tricked into signing up for an Amazon Prime account for $140 a year, guess what? You're not alone. The Federal Trade Commission says Amazon tricked and trapped millions of people into recurring Prime subscriptions, in essence, stealing hundreds of millions of dollars from customers. How did they do this? Well, Amazon created this long and confusing process that derails most cancellations. That's what the FTC says. Pages and pages of confusing offers and deals and distractions to stop you from unsubscribing. Now, Amazon internally called this tactic Iliad. Yeah, named after an ancient Greek poem describing what? You know this. Come on. It was in your history class in high school. Yeah, the decades-long Trojan War. I know. I hated reading it too. Anyway, Amazon invented the easy-to-use one-click ordering, and they could have made a one-click cancel button too. And the FTC is saying, this is why we're suing you. And of course, Amazon says, oh, we don't know anything about what you're talking about. Number 3 on our list, you're not that lucky. You may have heard stories about hackers leaving these sketchy free USB drives all over the place, hoping that some poor sucker's just going to put it right into their computer, and then boom, malware city. Old school, times have changed. It's no longer USBs, it's smartwatches. The U.S. Army's Criminal Investigation Division, the CID, they sent out this massive warning. And any one of you folks that are listening on Armed Forces Radio, you need to hear this and pay attention, that if you get a smartwatch in the mail, don't open it up. Don't take the watch out. Don't use it. This isn't a gift. You weren't that lucky. The CID says they're getting numerous reports of servicemen and women getting free unaddressed smartwatches just dropped on their doorstep. And guess what? Probably loaded up with malware and to give some unknown hacker or maybe enemy state VIP pass right into your sensitive system. So bottom line here is that if you get a smartwatch in the mail, what should you do? The CID says, don't freak out. Just do not turn it on. You want to report it to counterintelligence. And that really goes for everyone. If you just get a smartwatch in the mail, don't think like, oh, this is awesome. I'm so excited. No, don't do that. Number 4 on our list is a really serious topic, and I need you to talk to your kids about this. You may remember a while back here on the show, we had South Carolina Representative Brandon Guffey to tell us about a horrific sextortion scam that targeted his 17-year-old son, Gavin. And in case you missed that, women started to talk to Gavin on Instagram, and then he started sharing intimate pics of himself with her, and then she used these images to blackmail him into sending money, and Gavin committed suicide. Just can't imagine the pain and suffering of that family. But parents, you really need to pay attention to this. Snap, of course, the parent company, Snapchat, they did a study. They found that 2 out of 3 teens are targeted by sextortion scams online. 2 out of 3, okay? 31% of kids surveyed shared explicit content. 25% shared private data. So you have to have that conversation with your kids. And I know it's uncomfortable, but they need to know the dangers, and they need to know that if something like this happens to them, that you're always going to be there to help them out of whatever situation they got themselves into. All right, moving on to number 5 on our list. Hacker fares. Yeah, they're going viral online. If you tried to book a flight lately, the Wall Street Journal says domestic flight prices are up 2.3%, larger than overall inflation. So how can you get a cheaper ticket? Well, there's a workaround. Online, it's called a hacker fare. So here's how it works. Instead of booking a round trip, you book 2 separate one-way tickets, often with different airlines. Because they say this way you can snag a better deal. Now, if you want to get even sneakier, there's a technique called hidden city or skip lagging. That's when you book a flight with a layover in a city that you actually want to visit. And then when you get to that city, you just stay. You get off the plane. Now, these little tricks, they aren't exactly airline approved. They aren't illegal, but they do go against the airline's terms of service. So American Airlines and United Airlines, they have penalties and fines for passengers who are pulling these moves. They say that it's revenue stealing and it's deceptive. Oh my gosh. The airlines are saying something's deceptive. Canceling flights, overbooking isn't deceptive by any stretch of the imagination. Gosh, I don't know how they sleep at night. Hey, speaking of, here's a cute joke that you can tell your friends and family members. Okay, an airliner flew into a violent thunderstorm and was soon swaying and bumping in the sky. One very nervous woman happened to be sitting next to a clergyman and turned to him for comfort. And she said, "Can't you do something? Can't you do something?" And the Reverend gently said to her, "I'm sorry, ma'am, I can't help. I'm in sales. I'm not in management." Okay, that was cute, wasn't it? All right, coming up, we have the big shakedown. Google versus Startpage versus DuckDuckGo versus Bing. We're going to tell you how they stand up to each other, and also later on how you can create free AI designs. And we have all of your great phone calls, and you have me, Kim Komando. Hey, our T-Mobile Unlimited listener line is now open at 1-888-825-5254 is the way to join us. And if you're not already getting our free newsletters, oh my gosh, what are you waiting for? Head over to getkim.com and join over 400,000 folks who get Tech Smart every single day. Once again, that's getkim.com. All right, money. You've heard all the sayings. It's the root of all evil. Cash is king, right? I like what my Uncle Pete used to tell me. This is so funny. He was such a great guy. He'd say, Kim, I spent all my money on women and cars and whiskey. And the rest, I just wasted. Right. Well, let's talk about money. And we have someone in the house who knows this better than anyone. I'm thrilled to introduce the incredible, she's just amazing, Jean Chatzky. She's the dynamic CEO of HerMoney.com and the captivating host of the Her Money podcast, which I was so thrilled to be on recently. Now, her voice and her face has been a constant companion for many of us over the past 25 years as the financial editor of the Today Show with NBC. And not just that, she serves as the financial ambassador for AARP. She's got all these credentials. I mean, I can keep going on and on and on, okay? CNN, MSNBC, and she's here today to just flip the script on what we know about money management, because she says that financial automation, which may seem like a roll of the dice, you know what I'm talking about with the stocks and everything, it's not as risky as we make it out to be. So, Jean, thank you for being here. Let's start at the beginning so we're all on the same page. What does it mean to automate our finances?
It means to let technology actually make sure that they happen for you. And the reason that this is so important is that human beings are basically wired to do the opposite of good things where our money is concerned. We are wired to spend money, not to save it. We are wired to make bad investment decisions. And so if we can put some automation in place, and I'm not talking about very fancy automation, but if we can use technology to help us make sure that our important money habits stick, then we win.
Which, makes a lot of sense. And I have to tell you this, obviously I'm successful. I work my butt off and I have for all these years. But I'll never forget when I was in college. My dad called me up and he said, and that was at that time when you'd get your grades mailed to the house, right? Not like today, you didn't get them online. My dad called me and goes, Kim, so why an A in computer science? Why an A in physics? Why an A in statistics? Why an A in something else? And I got a D in accounting. Okay. Because my mind just doesn't work. That's why I'm so fascinated every time I talk to you. My money management is zero-based budgeting. We just don't spend money. Okay, we just don't.
Well, and that, by the way, that works. That's okay. If you can get yourself into that loop, that's fine. But a lot of people, the problem that they have is that they spend more than they make on a regular basis. So they've got credit card debt. The interest rates on that debt are just going higher and higher. They're not putting money into their 401ks and their IRAs and their emergency cushions, which means that when an emergency comes around in the short term, they're not going to have money to handle it. So it goes on the credit card. And in the long term, they're going to be struggling because they're just going to be living on Social Security. And so we've got to get in the middle of those loops. And technology offers us a really great way to do it, right? And if you just look at 401ks, you see why. 401ks' secret sauce is that they pull the money out of your paycheck before you see it, before you touch it, and before you spend it.
Yeah.
Right? And so if you've got a 401k, then the thing to do is to just lean into that. Make sure that you are maxing out. Make sure you're capturing all the matching dollars. Make sure the money in your 401k is invested. And we can talk about automating that as well. And if you don't have a 401k, then you want to rig one up for yourself that basically does the same thing. You want to open an account for an IRA or a Roth IRA and then automatically have money pulled out of your checking account every time you get paid and moved over to the portfolio that you've set up at the IRA or at the Roth IRA at that brokerage firm so that it just keeps going in. And you can do the same thing for health savings accounts, 529 college savings accounts, regular emergency funds. You can even set up accounts for your very specific goals like a down payment for a home or this great vacation that you want to go on. And because the money is moving automatically, you don't have to make a good decision every time you want it to happen. It just happens.
So is there a magical rule of thumb? I mean, a certain percentage that you should be putting away?
Yeah, 15 for your long-term goals. If you can save 15% for retirement, basically for most of your working life, and it takes us a little bit of time in our 20s often to get started. But if you can nudge your contributions up to the point where they hit that 15%, and that can include any matching dollars that you get from your employer, then you've got a good shot that your retirement nest egg will last you 30 years at the other end of your working life.
Now, what if you need to pull money out of the 401k? I mean, there are penalties with that, right?
Well, not necessarily. So you can borrow from your 401k, and borrowing is better than pulling money out. You're right. If you pull money out before you are 59 and a half, you're going to get hit with a 10% penalty, and worse than the 10% penalty, you're going to have to pay income taxes on that money. But if you can access the money from other places, you should look at those other places first, right? This is why we got to keep our credit score up and why automation can really help with that.
You know, you mentioned 529 accounts, and those are fabulous. I mean,
they are.
They are just amazing. And so I set that up for my son. And so when he finally went to USC, which was like, oh, thank goodness, because that's like big bucks, right? But I thought this was interesting. So now he's going to law school, and he actually got a scholarship for law school. And then we can take that money out of his 529 account, which I was like, wow, I didn't even know that you could do anything like that.
Yeah, you can. And there are new rules. And that's if you have that coverage by a scholarship. But if you don't have that coverage by a scholarship and you have money in a 529 account for somebody who decides that they don't want to go to college, now you have the ability to roll up to $35,000 of that money into a Roth IRA.
Wow.
So you don't have to worry about moving it out of the plan or paying any sort of penalties.
Now, this is great. But speaking of money, we just have to make a few bucks ourselves right here. We're going to play a few commercials. And next, I want to dig deep into how, and even if it's possible, to time the market and how to build a diversified portfolio. And of course, we have all of your phone calls that you don't want to miss. And then we have that shakedown, right? The search engine comparison, Google versus Startpage versus DuckDuckGo versus Bing. I seem to get this question so often in my inbox. I mean, I want to get rid of Google, but I'm trying to figure out how I can still get what I want to find on the internet without Google tracking every single thing that I type in. So maybe you've heard the ads for DuckDuckGo, and maybe you've actually tried Bing. Yes, Bing is back because of artificial intelligence. And then, of course, there's Startpage. So you don't want to miss that. And also later on, if you're trying to dabble into AI designs, I have a wonderful site you're going to want to check out. So we got that coming up and a whole bunch more. So stay right where you are with the Kim Komando Show. Now, if you're just tuning in, we've been having this great conversation with Jean Chatzky. Now, she's the CEO of HerMoney.com and the host of Her Money Podcast, which I had the opportunity to go on, and we talked about scams and how you should really handle your financial life online. So, Jean, let's keep this conversation going.
You see mutual funds that have a date in the title, things like the 2040 fund or the 2050 fund. Those are target date funds, and they're managed to take the appropriate amount of risk for a person who wants to retire at that date or around that date. And as you close in on retirement or get closer to any goal, you need to take less risk with your investments. So simply by putting your money into a target date fund, you are staying You are using automation to keep you in balance. You can do the same thing in a lot of ways by buying what we call a balanced fund, which is going to be 60% stocks and 40% bonds. They'll just adhere to that. That is that's the mix that pension fund managers have used for years. And all of these things just sort of keep us honest, because otherwise, if you pick your portfolio yourself, whether it's a portfolio of funds or a portfolio of individual stocks, it's up to you to do what we call rebalance, to go back in once a year and essentially bring your mix back in line. And if you don't do that, and a lot of people have very good intentions, but they just don't do it, then you can get out of whack and you can find yourself either taking way too much risk or way too little risk.
You know, I hear from folks who always ask me, like, should they be buying Twitter, Tesla stock, SpaceX, or whatever it is, OpenAI, Microsoft, and, you know, these big, and then they plow their money into whatever that tech company is. And then, of course, like in case of Tesla, it goes down, it goes back up, it goes down, it goes back up. It's very cyclical. It's hard to really, unless you're doing this and you're really good at it, it's incredibly difficult to time the market, right?
You can't time the market. You really can't time the market. I'm a believer that even people who believe that they can time the market are just telling you that they got lucky at one time or another. No, you should be buying throughout your life. You should be investing all the time. And what that means is that you buy the market at highs and you buy the market at lows. And when you're buying things after they've gone down, just think about getting a great company or a great fund on sale, because that's essentially what you're doing. And historically, we know that over time, the markets have trended up. And so that's the best way to do it. And I agree with you. I think for most of us, a diversified portfolio where you've got your money either in a target date fund or in a couple of inexpensive index funds that really cover all your bases, make sure that you're invested very broadly in stocks and in bonds, are the right way to go for most people. But I also know that a lot of people, a lot of women in particular lately, are interested in knowing more about the individual stocks, knowing more about how would I go about buying Tesla if I wanted to buy Tesla, or evaluating Tesla to see if it's a good time to even think about buying a couple shares of Tesla to supplement what I've got going on in retirement. And so my friend Karen Feinerman, who is, she's a CNBC panelist on Fast Money, and she's a professional investor. She and I started a program. It's called Investing Fix. We spell it with 2 X's, and we're teaching women how to pick stocks.
Awesome.
Every other Monday night on Zoom. We teach it like a class. It's a subscription program, but if you want to try it out, the first month is free, and just go to investingfix.com and you'll find all the information.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Just one final question. When we start talking about all money and automate and manage it, are there particular tools that you recommend? I mean, I know that folks, if they have things in a Fidelity account, you can go online, you can see your pretty pie charts. But is there a specific tool that you say, wow, like if this is something that you want to do, like you definitely need to check this out?
I actually think that the tools at the Fidelities of the world are the best ones to use, because those are where your money is going. Right? If you've got your 401k with Fidelity, you'll use Fidelity. If you've got your 401k with Vanguard, you'll use that, or Schwab, you'll use that. Wherever your work-based plan or your IRA is held, use their tools, get to know their tools. They all basically do the same thing. But by familiarizing yourself with the tools where you actually have your money, you get the full picture all at one time.
Well, Jean, thanks for being here. Appreciate you sharing
Kim.
all your words of wisdom. And yeah, we're going to just automate everything. So this way we save. We don't spend, especially when we're drinking on Amazon. Bad ideas. Okay, great.
Thanks for having me.
All right. There are all these different search sites. You have Google, you have Startpage, DuckDuckGo versus Bing. Of course, let's just go over your options. Google, yeah, it's the most popular. It's the biggest. Do you have any estimate as far as what do you think the market share that Google has in the search engine? Any idea? It's not quite 99%. It's 93%. DuckDuckGo, they say that they do 98 million daily searches. Startpage, they call themselves the world's most private search engine. And then, of course, there's Bing. I never thought I'd be throwing Bing into the mix, but you have to because of their AI capabilities now. So how do they measure up? So we did some research, just a simple search for ice cream in Phoenix. And so we did it at Google. Of course, they had local options, rating, price, hours of operation. That was handy. And then they had best of lists. For DuckDuckGo, it started out with a map. And this is actually more streamlined than Google's version. With Startpage, Ice Cream Phoenix, it probably had the best results, but it didn't have any maps or any extras. It just gives you the facts. And for Bing, well, it starts with a bunch of local ice cream shop listings across the top so you can see. And then it shows you the 10 best ice cream and frozen yogurt shops in Phoenix. So you can see that when you start doing these searches, that it becomes a different result when you go from site to site. So here are some things that you want to keep in mind. Google, it offers incognito mode. It has detailed settings. It does track everything that you do. DuckDuckGo, it tracks every email you type, everywhere you've been, everything that you search, even incognito mode. And when you're using incognito mode, it doesn't store cookies or anything like that. It doesn't hide your IP address when you browse either, by the way. With Startpage, it has, it really has everything that you need. It doesn't log your personal information. It hides your IP address, and it also encrypts everything. And with Bing, of course, you're going to see the ads, and it does have some streamlined results. So let me tell you my personal preference. I like to use Startpage. Okay, Startpage actually buys the results from Google, but you get this nice, clean interface, this nice, clean page. DuckDuckGo doesn't always give me the results back that I want. And I'm not sure why. Maybe it's in their algorithms. So if you're looking for what I would consider the safest search site to use that doesn't track you, that's where you want to look at startpage.com. Now, we have links to the research that we did, more information in case you want to check it out, and just head over to komando.com. And there at the top of the page, there's that big old button that says Show Picks. Once again, komando.com, Show Picks. All right, still to come, we have more of your phone calls. And if you've ever wanted to dabble in artificial intelligence and art, because, it's being written about every single day on every single site is AI, I have a really wonderful site that you're going to want to check out, and it's absolutely free, and it's really super easy to use, so stay right where you are. All right, a couple of things I want to just pass along, that if you're not getting our podcast, you're really missing out. Every single day, we have Kim Komando Today. It's about 30, 35, 40 minutes, somewhere in that time frame. And this way you can stay up to date on what's going on. And it's the show, it's the calls. And then we do a special Kim Komando Today every Friday with Allie and Matt. And sometimes Jeremy even comes on, like he did this past week, to talk about pig butchering. Yeah, it's a thing in the online world, pig butchering and what's going on with online dating. And it's not just Kim Komando Today. We also have the Daily Tech Update. And what I love about the Daily Tech Update is that every single day you get 2 minutes. You get one news story and you get one tip. And so I started thinking about, why would people want just a 2-minute podcast? Well, you know what it's really great for? Okay. Let's say you get up in the morning and, of course, you're going to brush your teeth, right? Everybody brushes their teeth. And so when you're brushing your teeth in the morning, what you do is just turn on the Daily Tech Update. And then you got 2 minutes. And while you're brushing your teeth, you're learning some great stuff. You're not sitting there looking at some YouTube video or anything like that. You're actually empowering your brain, which is what we want. So make sure that you get the Daily Tech Update and Kim Komando Today. Wherever you get your podcast, just search for my last name, Komando with a K, of course. Dave in Pittsburgh, glad to have you with us.
Hello, Kim. Greetings from the Berg.
The Berg. I love that. Thank you. So what's going on?
Well, you've been a lot of help to me over the years in so many ways, and I'm hoping today you can help me with my brother's health issue.
Okay.
He's got AFib in addition to memory loss, and, that really messes with your heart rate. And now he's on a new medication that might reduce it, and I'm looking for something to monitor his heart rate and alert him if it goes awry.
Okay. What kind of phone and how tech savvy do you think he is?
He has an iPhone 12 mini, and he's not that tech savvy, but his wife is, and so am I.
Okay. Do you think an Apple Watch would be good or no?
I have one, and I think it would be. I have the SE model. I guess there's more advanced ones.
Yeah, there is. The Apple Watch Series 8 is the latest and greatest, and it does all kinds of things now. It's just an amazing gadget, isn't it? What do you like the most about it?
I like the fact that it'll keep track of an irregular heartbeat. And if I fall, it'll call the police. Which
is so nice. Now, the downside is, of course, is the battery life, right?
Right. I want to get him a stand for next to his bed for whatever he gets.
Yeah, that's always a good idea. They have these, I call them triple play stands now. I just got one for my husband, and they sell them at Costco. They're like, I don't know, it's a Belkin brand, but I bought his at Costco for about $110. But instead of having 3 different chargers, it's a 3-in-1, so he can put his iPhone, his watch, and also his AirPods right on one charger. So it's kind of sweet, and it all works. The Apple Watch is definitely, without hands down, the best wearable for somebody, I think, with a heart condition. I mean, you can get the cardio, you can put the Cardia app on that as well, which is also pretty darn good. But the downside is the 18-hour limitation. So if his wife is around to help him to remember to actually charge this thing up, it's great, right?
Right.
Because it will give him the alerts that he needs to know that something's going on. And also he can set it up so that if something is going wrong, that his wife could be notified too. Now, if for some reason that this doesn't work out for him, and maybe, you might want to loan him your watch for just a day to see how he deals with it, is that Fitbit has something called the Fitbit Luxe, Luxe, fitness and wellness tracker. And it does everything that you might expect: sleep tracking, 24/7 heart rate, stress management, all that other good stuff. But it also allows you to do the heart rate notifications that you're looking for. But the battery life on the Fitbit is 5 days. So that's why I like to tell people about both. So if you have somebody who's not going to remember to actually charge up the Apple Watch, then that's where you want to look at something like a Fitbit. Again, it's the Fitbit Luxe Fitness is the wellness tracker. But I'll tell you, the Apple Watch, it seems like every single day I'm reading some story about somebody's life being saved by an Apple Watch. And if you are listening, and whether it's you or somebody you love, that they have heart issues, that, get them an Apple Watch. The other thing, too, what's nice is that you can do your own ECG on that thing. It's not quite an EKG, but it's ECG. And that's really fabulous, so that if you think that something may be going on with that little ticker, is that you can kind of have an idea where you can do these various reports on yourself, on your watch. And then when you do get to see your cardiologist, is that you can kind of open up your phone and you can see everything that's going on. But it's really, really phenomenal tech. Take a look at the Series 8, Dave. That's the one that I got my husband, and it's pretty darn good. Hey, just a couple of things before we wrap up for this week. Now, here's the thing about artificial intelligence and getting creative, is that you don't have to be a wizard anymore, and you don't need all these expensive computer programs in order to make world-class graphics. Now, here's the deal. If you have the latest Microsoft Edge browser, all you need is just this spark of inspiration and a keyboard. And guess what? It's not going to cost you a dime, because Microsoft has been putting loads of AI features into its Edge browser. Like ChatGPT powered Bing or Compose, which actually transforms your ideas into Word docs. You should try that. But there's one feature that you might not know about. It's called Microsoft Designer, and it can totally transform your ideas into images. Now, all you have to do is head over to designer.microsoft.com and just put any idea. Like I did Kim Komando meme, and it came out with some really great ones. You could do like Facebook ad for my bakery, and out comes an ad. And from there, you can tweak it. You can get a specific aesthetic or style. And in case you want to try it again, it's absolutely free at designer.microsoft.com. That's designer.microsoft.com. Hey, thanks for joining us. Be sure to tell 3 friends about the Kim Komando Show and the Kim Komando Today podcast, because everyone needs more tech smarts, right? And knowledge is power. You can find me over at komando.com. If you own a home, listen up. This is scary. The FBI is warning about a crime on the rise, home title theft. And it doesn't happen the way you might think. No break-ins, no stolen keys, just a forged signature on a single piece of paper filed with the county. In minutes, criminals can transfer the title out of your name, then use your ownership to drain your equity or even sell your home. The worst part, most people don't know what's happening until they get collection or foreclosure notices in the mail. That's why I trust Home Title Lock. When you visit HometitleLock.com/Kim, you'll get a free title history report and a 14-day free trial of their $1 million triple lock protection, including 24/7 monitoring of your home's title, urgent alerts to changes, and if fraud does happen. Their U.S.-based restoration team will work to restore your title, covering costs up to $1 million. Don't wait. Protect your home and equity today. Get your free 14-day trial at HometitleLock.com/Kim. That's HometitleLock.com/Kim.
It's the Kim Komando Show podcast for the weekend of July 1st, 2023, and the 4th of July weekend. Thank you for being there. Here's hour 2.
All right, let's kick things off with something super interesting. Now, I'm sure that you've seen that classic 1968 film, 2001: A Space Odyssey, Stanley Kubrick. All right, you know all about HAL 9000. He's that AI powering the film's protagonist, Dave's spacecraft. He takes Dave's orders, reminds him of his screw-ups, and then...
Open the pod bay doors, Hal.
I'm sorry, Dave. I'm afraid I can't do that.
Now, the reason why I bring this up is that NASA is now building a ChatGPT-powered AI system that actually works like HAL. It can find the right coordinates to the moon, other planets. It's going to talk to the astronauts on board all the ships. And it's going to take its first mission on the Lunar Gateway, which is going to serve as this outpost orbiting the moon that serves as a way to have some deep space exploration. I mean, this is really crazy stuff. I mean, speaking of, did you hear that the CIA has hired Stanley Kubrick to fake the moon landings? That's right. He was such a perfectionist, he made them film on location. Yeah, I know, you laughed at that one. Hey, brace yourself for a tech knowledge boost, given that every single thing now is a tech-based thing. And for our new listeners, we're excited to have you. For our regulars, great to see you again. Because after all, I'm Kim Komando, America's beloved digital goddess, and you have tapped into the largest, most trusted show about all things digital. You can find us on 420 top radio stations throughout the United States. We're streaming in your favorite radio app. Just look up my last name, Komando, to find it. And you can also enjoy an ad-free podcast or webcast over at Komando.com. Just click that big old yellow Komando community button in the top right. And that's right, it's commercial-free. And a special shout-out goes to our listeners on the American Forces Network Radio, serving more than 375,000 American servicemen and women and the Army, the Navy, the Air Force, the Marine Corps, the Coast Guard, and the Space Force in 175 different countries. And our T-Mobile Unlimited listener line is now open at 1-888-825-5254 is a way to join us. Now, if you need immediate tech support, you're like, I need to fix this right now, Kim Komando. That's where I want you to reach out to my team of tech experts over at GetKimsHelp.com. Once again, that's GetKimsHelp.com. And if they don't fix your problem, you don't pay. That's GetKimsHelp.com. Super affordable, by the way. All right. Every single day, I drop by so many different websites, at least 30, to make sure that you and I are both up to date on what's going on in the tech universe. And here are 5 things that you need to know that's happening right now. And with our first story, we're going to head over to San Antonio. That's where Air Force veteran Amanda Petzler decided to buy some expensive furniture on Facebook Marketplace through a seller her daughter has suggested, about $4,000 worth of furniture. So here's how it went down. She paid the seller in full, but he said, hey, can you pay through the Cash App? I don't want to do this through Facebook. So Amanda says, oh, okay, I guess that's right. So she expected all of her stuff to arrive in April, but since I'm talking about it, she didn't get it. 4 months go by, she still hasn't received not even a chair. So she got scammed, and she's not the only one. There's been a total surge in searches for Facebook Marketplace scam worldwide. This phrase is up by almost 300%. Wow, people are getting scammed left and right on Facebook Marketplace. So that's why I wanted you to know about this. So here's the deal. If you're going to use it, make sure that you stay on the platform for all your communications. Don't do payments anywhere else. And also, do a little detective work. Look up the seller's name and scam on Google. I mean, don't pay until you get the goods either. I mean, just don't send somebody money and say, oh, do you think you're going to be delivering it someday soon? Nope, no. Don't do that. All right, number 2 on our list of 5 things is Costco is changing. Okay, who hasn't gone to Costco to buy, yes, those large quantities of toilet paper and that rotisserie chicken? Or how about the biggest teddy bear that you've ever seen? Well, to get that stuff, you have to pay, right? You have to be a member of Costco. Well, it turns out, much like Netflix and that passwords, is that a lot of people are sharing their Costco membership IDs with each other. And Netflix has kind of paved the way, and they are just going gangbusters in getting new folks to subscribe to Netflix. I can tell you about that in just a second. So here's what's happening. When you go to Costco, you're going to have to show your real ID at the door alongside your Costco ID, or you're not allowed in. I'm talking about your driver license and your Costco ID. Because Netflix, as I mentioned, they just hit a home run. On May 26th and 27th, right after Netflix dropped the bombshell on all of us that, hey, you're not allowed to share your Netflix password anymore, the streaming service got almost 100,000 signups. Oh my gosh, on each of those 2 days. And that number just keeps going up. I went to Costco last weekend with my friend Jason. And he's a funny guy. So as we were walking around, he looked at me and, I've known Jason for a long time. And he had that look on his face like, I'm going to say something, Kim, that is just so profound, which he actually did. I bust up laughing. So he looked at me with that face and he says, Kim, Costco is a lot like my ex. And I said, how could that be? He says, well, like her, they give free samples to everyone. It's like, ooh, that's bad. Number 3 on our list of 5 things, you won a little bit. Have you ever entered a Publishers Clearinghouse contest online? Well, maybe you did actually win because you're going to get part of a payout, $18.5 million. The FTC is a settlement that's because they say Publishers Clearinghouse is deceptive. Okay, I wonder if you get the money that they're going to come with a big check and knock on your door with their TV crew. I don't think so. The FTC says that Publishers Clearinghouse was using dark patterns to trick consumers. They made you believe that if you wanted to enter all those sweepstakes and actually win, is that maybe you had to buy a few magazines or something else along the way. Now, PCH has an official form on their website that if you clicked, that you would get this barrage of ads and pop-ups and sales pitches. And so then also you'd get something in your email like, at stake, just one order is all it takes. So the FTC is going to be posting how you can claim your share soon. They haven't quite done that yet. Next on our list at number 4 is Facebook Messenger. Yes, after 19 years in business, Meta, of course, the owners of Facebook and Instagram, they decided that maybe we should do our part to help protect the teens that are on our service. Well, I'm sure this has something to do with that scathing report from the Wall Street Journal about how pedophiles are using Instagram to target and groom children and share kitty porn. And so Meta's decided that, okay, maybe we'll actually do something. On Facebook, that's where they're going to start. And also on Instagram DMs. And so now you can see how much time your teen is spending on Facebook Messenger and on Instagram. You can get updates on any changes made to their contact list, privacy settings. You can review and manage who they can message. As a teenager, friends of friends, nobody at all. Those are your options. But again, it just shows to show you how out of touch that Meta really is because the kids are not on Facebook. Okay. Okay, they're on Instagram, but they're on everywhere else but Facebook. And finally, this coming in at number 5, the best things to sell on eBay. So let's say if you have some worn out Levi's in your closet, or how about a bucket of coins? Okay, eBay. There's a website called self.inc. They decided to do a deep dive into the best sellers on eBay. They analyzed 17 million online sales. And guess what the top seller is? Anybody? It's books. That's right. People like to read. Who knew? Books racked up 2.8 million sales in 90 days alone. Next, card games, DVDs, and comic books. Collectible U.S. coins. That's what you're going to get the most money on. The worst sellers, vintage, antique jewelry. Only 4.7% of listener items were in that category that had any type of takers. And again, if you got stuff laying around your house. I actually wrote about this in one of our newsletters this past week. We have the list posted also over at Komando.com, but it's time for you to clean out and declutter, okay? And maybe you can make some money on eBay. And speaking of eBay, I just put my vacuum cleaner on eBay because it was just collecting dust. Ooh, yeah, that was a good one. All right, coming up, we have our money tip, and we're talking about some hidden Google Maps features that will save you time and money. Also, we have some ways that you can use tech to make your bike difficult to steal. And, of course, we have all of your phone calls that you don't want to miss here on The Kim Komando Show. Hey, our T-Mobile Unlimited listener line is now open at 1-888-825-5254 is the way to join us. And if you're just too shy to come on a big-time radio show, I get that. You can always drop me your question over on the website at Komando.com. And just hit that link that says Email Kim. And while you're there, make sure that you sign up for our free newsletters, because every single day, about less than 5 minutes, that's all it takes, is that I'm going to bring you up to date on everything that's going on. I get up early every morning just to make sure that I'm up to date and you're up to date, and not just with the show, but also in our newsletters. So make sure that you just hit that button that says free newsletters too. All right, so let me tell you about Shreya Datta. She's a successful tech exec. She went online to find a relationship like so many people do after her divorce. Then she thought she found the guy on Hinge. And she started chatting with him. He was a good-looking wine trader from France. Of course he is. So, Shreya, what was your life like before you met Ansel?
It was pretty good, actually. It was much better, clearly. Settled in an apartment in Philadelphia, and that was my big restart after divorce. And that was around that time I started to get back into the world of online dating. And
then what attracted you to Ansel?
His profile was that of a good-looking guy, but he was a believably good-looking guy. So I didn't think too much of it. What really attracted me was the fact that he came in saying that he was only looking for a serious long-term relationship.
Now, you did video chats with him.
You know, to me, when you do a video chat, a person is real. But I understood later that those were deep fake videos. And the story he gave me was he's really shy. So he did the video chats were quick. And there were phone calls, and most of our interaction was on text. But the videos are very reassuring because it was definitely him and his dog, and it completely matched everything he was telling me, but they were short. And he always had a good reason for it, that, you know, why it had to be short. Yeah. So he presented himself to be a well-to-do person who was ready to retire in 2 years. And he had made all this money from crypto trading, and he was going to teach me. And it's not like I gave him money. He was like, you'll invest with your own money in your own account. But the account was a link he sent me, and that was a mirror app. So I thought this whole time that I was trading with my own money in SoFi's crypto trading platform, but that was the fake, you know. So it was cleverly interwoven into this romance about two people meeting together and planning a future together, and just, you know, him helping me so that I too could retire earlier and, you know, travel and do all those things that I had been putting off, thinking it's simply not in the horizon for someone like me who probably has to work till 65. Yeah.
So were you making money initially in the crypto investment? And how much money did you put in the beginning?
So I started really small. To earn my trust, the first thing I put in was $1,000, and $1,000 became $1,250. And then I put 5,000, that became 8,000. And the first couple of transactions I was able to do from my bank to Coinbase to convert it into crypto, and from Coinbase into this SoFi fake crypto trading platform, and also have it move back to my bank account. I thought that was very legitimate, because why else would all these financial institutions, you know, let this through? But that's how they gain your trust too. There is something to be said for crypto deregulated world simply not being able to catch these things. The 450,000 I lost in this fake SoFi platform was, over a period of time, it had grown to $1 million. Yeah.
I'm sorry, say that again? What? The 450?
450,000 was almost 990,000 in this fake SoFi account.
Oh, wow. That's
over a period of time. And, you know, he would set up these sessions with me where we would just trade, and he would tell me what trades to make, and he would make the same. And it felt like such a high. I felt like my real money was growing.
But this was all fake. It was all fake. It was all fake.
Yeah, it was a very well done fake with perfect branding, customer service, legit, I've used trading platforms before. I could not suspect just by the look and feel of it that it was not real.
When did you find out that it wasn't real?
I wanted to withdraw the money and the platform asked for a 10% fee. And at that point, I got suspicious, and then I contacted my brother who said, yeah, that's very suspicious. SoFi is asking for that. That's not likely. And then we called SoFi, the actual bank, and they said, no, this is not them. This is a fake account. And then I did a reverse image search on all the pictures and videos he had sent me. Turns out these pictures belong to another public Instagram account of some guy in Germany.
You know, it's hard when you go through a situation like this. I went through not a financial scam, but I went through something where somebody who I trusted did wrong by me, and I needed to get a lawyer involved. And one day I was driving down the street here in Phoenix, Arizona, and I called my lawyer, and I said, I am so angry that I trusted this person. I'm so angry that I got taken this way. And the lawyer told me, don't let that change you, because you are who you are and everybody loves you because of the way that you are, and you cannot let that situation harden you. Just passing some little words of wisdom along.
Thank you, Kim. I appreciate it. I'm trying to not be a cynic. I'm trying to hold on to, it's not a crime to trust and hope for the best and be positive. It's a crime to scam a person.
Correct.
So I know I shouldn't let go of the person I was completely, but it broke my spirit in a way.
Sure, and it's devastating. Were you able to get any help from any of the authorities?
Actually, no, and this is one of the most heartbreaking things, because legally what happened to me is fraud and theft, but because of the nature of pig butchering, I have no recourse and no protection as a fraud and theft victim. So the only people who can help me are FBI and Secret Service, and they are inundated with similar cases. This pig butchering crime isn't new. It's been going on for last 2 years, and the country has lost billions to this type of scam.
Well, you know what? Thank you for telling your story. I appreciate you coming on with us. It's I'm sorry that you went through this, but you know what? I can look at you. I can see your face. You're a strong woman. You are. And you got a beautiful smile. You do. And that person is out there. Sure, they are.
I hope you're right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kim.
Wow, $450,000 she lost in 3 months. Incredible, isn't it? Whew. But if you know anybody who's dating online, you really need to share that story with them. All right, let's move on. Let's talk about VHS tapes. Yeah, I know you have them laying around, but I hate to tell you this, these tapes, they don't last forever, right? They last anywhere between 10 to 30 years. So that's why I want to make sure that you preserve all your precious family memories. Now, you can transfer your VHS tapes to a digital format. It's super easy to do. You just go on Amazon, you can buy a VHS to DVD converter. And it has a VHS player on one side and a DVD recorder on the other. Now, there's also services that will do this conversion, but I want to talk just about this converter. That, this is old technology going to old technology, right? VHS to DVD. So I'm not a big proponent of this. That's why I really recommend that you use a service like Legacy Box, Southtree, iMemories, because they make it easy for you to get all your memories off of your VHS tapes. You just send them the tapes, they put them up in the cloud, and then they mail you the tapes back just in case you want them. Now, if you do have these tapes laying around, I want to make sure that you're going to store them in a cool, dry place away from sunlight and humidity. So this way, maybe they'll last just a little bit longer. If you need more information about this, you want to try that converter, we have links over on the website at komando.com. Stay right where you are. We have more of your phone calls and more fun coming up that you don't want to miss on the Kim Komando Show. Okay, it's time for what I like to call, is this person wrong or is this person right? It's a little contest that we do every single week here on the Kim Komando Show, and this week it's brought to us by NetSuite. Whether your business generates millions or hundreds of millions of dollars, take advantage of NetSuite's special financing offer today. Hey, listen up. If you're using QuickBooks, you need to really check this out. Get no payments or interest for 6 months by heading to netsuite.com/Kim. That's netsuite.com/Kim. All right, there's a widely popular Reddit forum called Am I the A-Hole? And it's a place on the internet where people share their deepest, darkest secrets. And they talk about something that's happening in their lives, and they're not sure about whether they're right or wrong. So they ask everybody on the internet, am I right or wrong? And then people comment on it, and some of the comments are in the thousands or even tens of thousands. I think I mentioned it's really, really crazy popular. Well, once a week here on the Kim Komando Show, I present you, the home listener, and a very special guest contestant, a situation that's been written up in this Reddit forum, Am I the A-Hole? And then it's up to you to decide whether they are or not. So to add to the excitement, our contestant is competing for the ultimate grand prize. That's right. It's a Kim Komando Show fanny pack. That's right. It's a Kim Komando Show fanny pack. And so many people say, how can I get a Kim Komando Show fanny pack? Super easy. Go to kimkomando.etsy.com. Once again, that's kimkomando.etsy.com. But nope, Jeff is here from Grants Pass, Oregon. And, I know you want to win one, right, Jeff?
I do.
Okay, what do you do there?
I'm actually a kitchen manager. I used to be a chef for about 30 years. Now I run a kitchen.
Oh, awesome.
Correctional facility.
So what do you think about the robots that are flipping burgers and stuff like that?
Well, other than the fact that it takes jobs away, you won't have a lazy employee, I guess, unless the power goes out.
Yeah, then, of course, we're not having the burgers, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to present you this story. And this one's kind of long. I'm going to shorten it up as much as I can. And then at the end, you have to tell me, the woman's asking, am I the a-hole or not? And here it goes. I live in an urban U.S. city, notorious for being in a seedy part of town. I found an apartment in an affordable neighborhood, but it didn't take me long to realize that the building's security is a joke. Multiple people have died in the building. Now, I'm pregnant, and we're 8 days from moving, but we installed a Ring doorbell camera when we first got into this building because we thought we were being targeted for a break-in or a push-in. Yesterday, new tenants moved in across from us. Within an hour moving in, they knocked on our front door and said, you need to take down your Ring video doorbell camera because your front door and our front doors are looking at each other, and that camera is an invasion of my privacy. I refused, saying there's high crime in this area in the building. And I mentioned that one of the reasons we had it so we could turn over the footage to the police if anything were to happen at an apartment or within view of the camera. Well, that's when my new neighbors across the way started to become even more insistent that we take down the Ring video doorbell camera. So again, she says, I refuse. She spoke to a friend who lives in the building, and she said, since we're moving out a week, just take down the camera. This way you can avoid an argument. Now, she's saying maybe I should take it down to avoid the unnecessary drama this close to the move, but I also am thinking about my family's safety. So, am I the a-hole for refusing to take down my Ring video doorbell camera so that my new neighbors are not upset at me? What do you think?
I think 100% not.
Keep the Ring doorbell up.
I would keep it up. I mean, are they trying to hide something? I could understand maybe if it showed into their bedroom or something private, but if it's just front door to front door, no. Okay. I think she's absolutely fine.
And let's see what the internet said. That's right. She is not the a-hole. As a matter of fact, all the comments pretty much say the same thing. One woman said, their entitled selves must have something to hide. Why would they instantly have a problem with a security video camera? Then they have the kahunas to come over and tell you what to do with your camera. Ask them what they're doing. And she says, there must be shady. And so, yes. You know what? Yep. You got the answer right. So you got an official Kim Komando Show fanny pack. Oh, priceless. I know.
Awesome.
Hey, so how can I help you out?
Okay, so I have teenage kids that do lots of sports, and they like to go over videotape to see how they played. And I would like a video recorder to be able to record their football, baseball and softball games to go over how they played. I got a GoPro 9 that doesn't have the options. It doesn't. Unless I'm not tech savvy, it doesn't work for me. So I want a camera that I can record up to about 4 hours. Would love the option to be able to pause it and keep going so it's one stream with just, like it clicks. Because if I try and use my phone, every time you stop it, it's basically another video, and I'd have to combine them all. So I don't want to have to go through all that kind of stuff. So I want to be able to record up to 4 hours of a game with the ability to pause it either through a phone app or a remote to condense it so you're not watching a 3-hour baseball game. You can actually watch a baseball game because you can stop when timeouts and all that stuff.
Yeah, I get that. Well, let's talk about the GoPro 9. Okay, it's fairly old. Anything more than a year old or two. Now it's almost going to be 3 years old because they released that in September of 2020. Like you mentioned a point, maybe you're not using it right. The GoPro is actually a pretty darn good camera. It does. I think this one even was doing 5K at that point. One thing that you might want to look at before, and we're going to talk about a couple of options. Okay, what you can do is modify the GoPro 9 for your needs, and what that means is that if you want 4 hours, that you're going to pair it with a portable battery. And then the GoPro, you can actually put an ultra wide 155 degree field of view lens on this. And so this way you would have that full, so you can get the whole baseball field if that's what you want, instead of just getting like just half of it or just, 3/4 of it. So that may be one idea. So that's an option for you. The other thing you could do, and if you want, and if it's not going to be a pain in the neck for you to do, is to just get a good old-fashioned video camera or put your phone right on a tripod, and you could just let that bad boy run. And if you have a fairly decent phone, is that you're able to, you'd be able to get pretty much, if not that capability that you have in the GoPro, but it may be more familiar to you than trying to manage a couple of gadgets on the outside. Now, that field of view wide-angle lens that I mentioned that you could put on a GoPro, a lot of people don't realize that they have similar lenses for your phones. So what kind of phone do you have?
An iPhone 13.
Okay, well, with an iPhone 13, you've got a fabulous camera, and then you could put a wide-angle lens on that and then put that on a tripod, and then you're not messing around with a GoPro and then a battery pack and then a wide-angle lens. And especially, what happens, too, with tech is that, and this may be happening to you, too, is that you're trying to use a GoPro it's kind of old right now compared to what you have on your iPhone 13 that is better technology. And so when you go to look at the GoPro and you're thinking, wow, I'm just fumbling through all this, right? And this is stupid when I can do this with my phone, and I'm looking for something that would be just as good as that. So maybe you skip the GoPro and don't spend $100 on that wide angle lens and then $50 for an Anker battery, whatever it may be, is that you get a nice wide angle lens for your iPhone and a tripod, and you just put that bad boy right out, and then you record the whole thing. And then you have the flexibility of knowing how it works, put it in iCloud. You can edit it really easy in iMovie and iPhoto, so you can zoom in on certain aspects. Now, if that's not an option for you, then you're really looking at getting yourself a good old-fashioned video camera or DSLR that does video that would give you that option. Because the GoPro is good for sports, 100%. It is, absolutely. It's good for activities. Is it the best tool to capture the kids' games just sitting there? Probably not. And that's where I'm going to defer back to saying I would use an iPhone. I put a wide-angle lens on it, maybe attach a battery to it and a tripod and say, here we go, kids. This is what we're going to use. And because they're probably all on stuff as well, as that they would also be intricately involved in editing and putting all that stuff together too. So, Jeff, not only did you just win a great fanny pack, but you got great advice. And if you need help picking out any of those wide-angle lens for your iPhone 13, just know I'm always here for you. And thank you for your call, and congrats on the big win. Hey, I talked about this on my podcast. Speaking of baseball, Kim Komando today, the other day, Major League Baseball is now scouting players with artificial intelligence. How are they doing this? They're actually using 2 iPhone cameras where they're watching baseball players at a game. And from there, the AI takes a look at the player's movements. Does he swing? Does he catch? Takes all that into consideration. I mean, this is so much more advanced than the old scouting, motion sensor kits, and everything else that was going on. Just 2 iPhones. Amazing stuff. All right, here's the deal. Google Maps, it can save you time and money. And so let's go through some of the ways it can do that real quickly. First of all, plan ahead and save on gas. That's right. Google Maps can help you plan a trip, taking in predicted traffic, routes, and road conditions along the way. I use this all the time. I drive into Los Angeles because I can say, this is the time I want to be in LA. So when should I actually leave my house in Santa Barbara so that I get there? And if you have never tried it, you really ought to. Number 2 on our list, you can quickly check gas prices. A lot of people don't realize this, is that if you open Google Maps and tap gas right under the search bar, you can see nearby gas stations and prices right on the map. Next on our list, you can find a place to charge your EV, and it also gives you the estimated wait times for a charging port. Super handy. A lot of people don't realize this. Number 4 on our list of 5 things is that if you open Google Maps and tap restaurants at the top, you're going to see a list of restaurants, of course, or you can search for a restaurant. But what you may not know is that you can reserve a table or you can join a wait list if the option is offered right there from within Google Maps, so you don't have to go over to Open Table or something like that. And finally, number 5, whether you're sightseeing or stopping for gas, wouldn't it be nice if the area is crowded before you go? That's right. Google Maps, it highlights when an area is near its busiest, and you just tap on the busy area label, brings up this chart that shows you how busy it is at different times of day, along with restaurants and shops, museums, and things like that. So for a list of all these, make sure that you just head over to Komando.com, and then there's that button right there at the top that says Show Picks. Again, that's Komando.com and Show Picks. Still to come, we have more of your calls, as well as ways that you can make your bike more difficult to steal by using the right technology here on the Kim Komando Show. All right, I don't know if you guys and gals have realized this, but I have opened my own Etsy store. Head over to kimkomando.etsy.com, and we've got a lot of show merch and some fun T-shirts. Again, that's kimkomando.etsy.com. Jake in Benton, Illinois.
All right, great to be here. Thank you for taking my call, Kim. Big fan. My wife and I are looking for a better baby monitor system than what we have now. So what we have now is just a basic 2-camera system that connects with its own monitor to show video and audio. But the range is so small, or so weak, I guess, that it's hard to really go outside the house and get a good signal where you'd actually want to utilize the monitor.
Oh, I see.
And it also interacts with our Wi-Fi signal. And if that monitor happens to be anywhere close to a internet using device, then it makes the internet, our Wi-Fi signal interferes with that and makes it stop working.
Okay, well, so much for monitoring the kids, right? Okay, so everything looks great. It's just a little hazy and it goes on and off. But other than that, they're fine. They're just good.
Yeah.
They're good. Well, here's the deal: is that the good news is that Amazon sells everything in the world, right?
Yes.
Is that they have a camera that's made by a company called Hello Baby. It's not very expensive, but what's nice is that it doesn't use Wi-Fi at all. It uses its own frequency, and it gives you all the ability to carry that little monitor with you, and it goes out to as far as a little bit. They say around 1,000 feet, but of course. Your mileage may vary, Jake, because mine always does. So, but if you can get close to 1,000 feet, I'm pretty happy for it. It has like 355 degrees. It zooms up to 2 times. So you should have a clear view of what's going on in there. And it looks, from the images that I saw, it looks like it works pretty good. The display is 3.2 inches, and we'll send you a link to this. It tilts 120 degrees. But you shouldn't be running into those issues with the Wi-Fi. Is the monitor that you're using right now, is it fairly old?
It's only a couple years old.
Oh, that shouldn't be bad.
Now.
Okay. Yeah. Do you have decent Wi-Fi past 1,000 feet?
No, we don't.
Okay.
Right. There could be. I mean, we would have extra Wi-Fi in additional buildings within the property, but not from a single source outside of 1,000 feet.
Okay. Well, you know what? Then, because I was thinking about maybe there was another solution with even just using Nest cams. If you were, because then you could just take a look on your phone and then you'd get alerts, when anybody was moving in the baby's room. You have two-way audio, and it gives you some other features other than just a quick take a look. Let's see how the babies are doing. And so we'll send you a link out to this, so hang on the line. And it's called the Hello Baby Monitor. It has cameras and audio and all that other good stuff. And again, that's what it's made for, is if you don't have decent Wi-Fi, but you still want to be able to see what's happening inside the baby's room or other places. So, Jake, thank you for your call today. I appreciate you getting through. All right, bikes are not cheap. And I don't want yours to get stolen, especially if you have an electric bike. Boy, some of them are so pricey. They're like $5,000 to $7,000, crazy stuff. So if you love your bike, here's what you need to do to keep it safe. Number one, get a smart lock. No keys or combinations. You unlock it straight from your phone. You pair it using Bluetooth or Wi-Fi. And then if anyone tries to steal your bike, you're going to get an SOS alert. Of course, there are GPS trackers. I have an AirTag hidden in my bike. And so you can hide one in your bike's frame, wheel, or seat. And this way you'll be able to keep an eye on your bike all the time right from your phone. AirTags, of course, they're good if you are, say, in the Apple ecosystem. If you're on Android, you're going to want to look at the tile trackers. And don't forget bike alarm systems. You just stick one of these right on your bike, and then if any thief tries their luck, it's going to set off this huge alarm. So again, you want to get a smart lock, AirTag, or take a look at these bike alarm systems. All right, if you learned one thing, what I want you to do is tell 3 friends about the Kim Komando Show and the Kim Komando Day podcast, because let's just face it, everyone needs more tech smarts, and knowledge is power. And you can find me 24/7 at the site. That's komando.com.
It's the Kim Komando Show podcast for the weekend of July 1st, 2023. Thanks for being a Komando community member, and let's get back to it. Here's hour 3.
All right, let's dive in with something that you're going to use time and time again. And trust me, you're not alone. Gen Z, they have their own language thanks to social media and texting. So there's an online tutoring website by the name of Preply, and they did a study to see which slang terms parents actually understand. Okay, the words that we all know, salty, sus, boogie, those are the slang terms that we do know. But how about DTB or pushing P? Okay, DTB means don't trust boys. Pushing P means pushing positivity. Isn't that something? So how does a Gen Zer tell a joke? Anyone? IDK, BC, FML, LMAO. Get it? Oh, I know. That was a lame joke. I promise they'll get better as the show goes on. I mean, really, even I was like, that's not a good joke. All right. On that happy note, get set to boost your tech know-how, because tech's in everything. And newbies, welcome aboard. Regulars, nice to have you back, because after all, I'm Kim Komando, America's beloved digital goddess. And of course, you've tapped into the most trusted, largest show about all things digital. You can catch my show. It's a slam dunk hit on 420 radio stations across the United States. We're streaming in your favorite radio app. Just look up my last name, Komando. And for an ad-free version, check out the podcast or webcast over at the website, komando.com. Just tap that big old yellow Komando community button in the top right. Yep, no commercials there. And a special hello to our listeners in the Army, the Navy, the Air Force, the Marine Corps, the Coast Guard, and the Space Force in 175 different countries who are joining us on the American Forces Network Radio, serving more than 375,000 American servicemen and women. And our T-Mobile Unlimited listener line is now open at 1-888-825-5254 is the way to join us. And let me tell you something. If whatever you're looking at is broken right now in your tech life, you can get it fixed. That's right. Reach out to my team of tech experts at getkimshelp.com. And if they don't fix it, you don't pay. So whether it's your Wi-Fi or maybe it's your printer, you're trying to set up, I don't know, a new TV, whatever it may be, head over to getkimshelp.com. All right. Every single day I go to, I don't know how many websites. I should actually count it. I know it's at least 30. I counted it, I don't know, a couple of months ago, I think. So to bring you up to date on 5 things that you need to know that's happening in the tech world. And for our first story, we're going to go to the UK, but this is also happening here in the United States. Her name was Menville Ferguson. She's a hardworking single mom. She's got 2 daughters, and she decided, hey, why don't we all just go on a little vacay to Jamaica? So for $1,300, she buys what appears to be a valid ticket on British Airways through a travel agency called Infinity Global Travel. So when she checks her flight on BA's website, everything looks great. But a few days before her trip, the reservation just disappears. And the airline, they say, we don't know what you're talking about. We don't have a ticket. So what's going on? It's all part of an elaborate scam that's happening online, and all airlines are facing it. You see, there's a big difference between a confirmed reservation and a ticketed reservation. A confirmed seat is just a reserved seat, but it's not ticketed until you pay the full price. But travel agencies can legally hold reservations for a longer period, and that's how the scammers get you. See, the scammers are creating fake travel agencies and sites to lure you in with cheap seats and cheap tickets. And to get your details, you go in, you buy a reservation, and of course you give them your credit card. And then when you check out the airline's website, everything looks legit because it's there. But when the hold period is up, the reservation just vanishes, and so does all your money. So your best bet, book directly on the airline site. Maybe you want to use your credit card like American Express or Google Flights. Don't be trusting these online travel agencies that give you a deal that's just too good to be true, because it's just not true. Number 2 on our list is your voice authentication. This is really interesting. We have all these different things about us that are unique. Your fingerprints, your body odor, your voice. Okay, your voice is totally unique. That's the reason why banks trust enough to authenticate your identity. And that's why, say, Google, Alexa, or Siri, they only answer to you. The problem is that now our voices are everywhere. It's on YouTube, social media, it's on your voicemail. And we even have hackers that will call you when you say hello. Okay, this is nutso, right? Just when you say hello, that's enough for them to duplicate your voice. Now, the reason why I bring this up is that scientists at the University of Waterloo, they have developed a way to bypass voice authentication security systems by up to 99% success after only 6 tries. So, all the banks saying, I'm going to call you and we need to authenticate your voice, they just broke that whole system. But I'll tell you something. If you want to make money, you ought to be in the cybersecurity business. Wow. Number 3 on our list is really interesting about Amazon and local deliveries. They always say the hardest part of a delivery is the last mile. And now Amazon says, we think we have an idea to fix that. So we're going to start seeing our local bakery, florist, tailor, cafe, car shops, all turning into mini Amazon delivery machines. This is actually really, really brilliant on their part. Amazon's calling all local businesses to become part-time delivery drivers. It's called Amazon Hub Delivery. And if you're a small business, they say you can make up to $27,000 a year on the side. That's about $2.50 a package. And each day, Amazon's going to deliver packages to your shop, and then you and your staff deliver these packages to folks in the area when you have time during the day. And then you get paid $2.50 for every package that you deliver, giving you just another source of income. Now, if you're interested, head over to Amazon.com/hub delivery. That's Amazon.com/hub delivery. Next on our list, coming in at number 4, is for everybody who has called me over the years and said, how, Kim Komando, how can I become the next Mr. Beast? How can I become a YouTube gazillionaire? Well, I ran across this blog over at HubSpot, and they were talking to a social media expert, a guy by the name of Jake Thomas. And he had some really good ideas that I wanted to pass along. And he says the first step to reel in viewers is to have an epic title for that YouTube video. The title should hit one of 3 click-worthy emotions. First is curiosity. So titles like, I can't believe this happened, or my biggest regret while whatever it was, that makes people curious, and then also that makes them want to actually watch your video. Next is fear. 5 ways to lose weight within the next 10 days, or you can't afford to miss this, or what I wish I knew that somebody should have told me 10 years ago, stuff like that. And then finally is desire. They have to feel like they're missing out on something. So you want to give them titles like how to make a jaw-dropping $20,000 a week on YouTube. So now that you have all these ideas for the titles, then what you need to do is now you need to go create the content. Boy, I'll tell you, Mr. Beast, if you haven't seen those videos that he's been putting out, Barry and I watched one last night where he puts one person in a glass booth between the ages of 1 and 100 and who wins at the end. And Barry had never really seen any Mr. Beast videos, so I showed him this one. And then afterwards he looked at me, he's like, the guy's doing a TV show. He is. It's not just a little YouTube video anymore. All right. And coming in at number 5, WD-40, right? What's going on with that in tech? Well, WD-40 should not be used around your electronics. And the reason why I bring this up is because I got an email recently from Stan in Chicago, Illinois, who said, can I use WD-40 to fix some of my tech? And I just thought, maybe I should talk about this because maybe there are more Stans around the world and around the country who are curious about this. Now, WD-40 is slightly conductive. And so if you spray it on your electronics, okay, it can create this conductive path. It can lead to short circuits and malfunctioning on devices. It also leaves a film once it dries and attracts dust and debris. Obviously, this is not good for your electronics, okay? It can deteriorate plastic and rubber over time. And so a lot of electronics has the plastic connectors and casings and other parts could corrode it. So if you need to clean your electronics, yes, I'm talking to you, stick to stuff that is made for that. Isopropyl alcohol, the 99% kind, dries up quickly, doesn't leave any residue, and you just want to be careful with that as well. And speaking of WD-40, I watched a UB40 tribute band called WD-40. And let me tell you, they were a bit rusty at first, but they got better as the evening went on. I told you the jokes got better. All right, coming up, we have a small business tip on how you can see your competitors' website traffic, and then how you can erase things from photos the easy way. And, of course, we have all of your phone calls. And you have me, Kim Komando. Hey, our T-Mobile Unlimited listener line is now open at 1-888-825-5254 is the way to join us. And let's kick things off with Randy in Rutledge, Tennessee.
Hey, Kim. How you doing this morning, or this evening? I'm sorry.
Welcome. I'm good. What's going on?
I love your show to listen to it as much as I can. I was just, I'm fixing to be unemployed here. I used to work still am working for a rural school district as an IT specialist, and I was just fixing to lose it, and I was just wondering if you had any. Cause I like to stay in the IT field. Mm-hmm. I just wonder if you had any advice or recommendations on what to try to stay in the IT field. So,
Randy, are you nervous?
Yes.
Okay. I want you not to be nervous. Okay. Take a deep breath. Ready? Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. How you feeling? You okay?
I'm good.
All right. Because it's just pretend it's just you and me talking. That's all. Mm-hmm. So what are you doing in the IT field there?
Just at the school system, we made sure, the computers were working. They were connected to the internet network. Okay. We were, did printers, just basic things for teachers and students and stuff like that.
Well, you know what? It's a great thing, because when your computer, your printer, it's not working, that means somebody's not working. It's
right. Yeah.
And it's not an easy job that you have. I've done it myself. It's because users get frustrated, right?
Right. Yes. Yes.
And then they don't always give you the whole story. Mm-hmm. You've asked them if they rebooted, and they assure you that they have, when you know that they haven't.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yes, I dealt with that. Yeah.
Or I always like this one. They say, I didn't do anything. Mm-hmm. And you're like, okay, yeah, sure you did it. But you can't say any of that. Yeah. You're like, oh, yeah.
You can't, yeah, right.
Just this big old hand came out and touched a few buttons, but that was not you. Okay, that was not you. So it requires not just technical acumen. It requires customer service skills and patience.
Right, yeah.
And smarts. Yes. Okay, so here are some things that you can do. You can look at maybe, some freelance or contract work. And that's where you're going to look at sites like Upwork or Freelancer. And maybe you could do some software installation, some troubleshooting. You could start your own business. Okay. Mm-hmm. And where you're doing IT consulting, you could set up computers, maintain networks, small businesses. Small businesses always need this support. Always.
Yes.
And because time is money. And a small business owner, no matter what business they're in, they don't want to waste their time by by maintaining computers or making sure that their employees' printer works. And so what you can do is set up your business so that you're going to offer your services for a monthly fee, a retainer fee of, say, $100 a month, and that you guarantee that you're going to be there within 4 hours. And then you can charge them an hourly rate, or they can pay for more hours per month and prepay for those. So there's different ways that you can set up an IT business like that. If you like the educational setting, you can consider teaching classes in your area or working at a local community college. There's also maybe some school systems in some neighboring areas. Local government, they always need somebody in this position. Always. Okay. So it's IT support for their operations. Remote work might be kind of tough because you're a hands-on type of guy.
Yeah.
So that's why we're not going remote as much as saying, what can you do? I like the idea of starting your own business if you felt like that was something that you could do, as well as taking a look at school systems and local government. And also, don't forget, you need to continue your education. And this might be a good time for you to, at night, start upgrading your skills for cybersecurity. There's always a need for that. And cloud computing and data analysis, artificial intelligence, how this affects our industry, the IT industry. So put all that down, in your head. And then I want you to start, what you can do is start just making notes to yourself. What would you really like to do? And you don't need to, I don't want you to decide right now, because sometimes when we need to make a decision, we might not make the best decision because we're under the gun to make that decision. And so that's why I think of, in the beginning, some freelance or contract work. And of course, you're still going to look for a full-time job, but there's nothing like owning your own business 100%, because you get to control your own destiny. And you sound like a really nice guy. And nice guys can finish first, and you can do your own thing and set your own hours and have your own clients. And you can have individuals, you can have small businesses, and you can even consult to the local government. So this isn't something that, is far beyond the reach. So what do you think about that?
That's all good advice. I appreciate it. Okay. I will definitely look into it.
Okay. Are you nervous anymore?
No, I'm good right now.
Excellent. All right, good. Hey, Randy, if you need any more help as you get this started, I want you to make sure that you just call me back. I'm always here for you. So many great paths to take, isn't there? Wow, what an amazing time we live in. All right, let's talk about photos. You have the perfect selfie, only to realize that there's a whole bunch of things in the background that you don't want. So at one point, we would have gone to Photoshop. You don't have to do that anymore. Google has something called Magic Eraser. You just open up your Google Photos app and you pick the photo, and then tap the edit button. And then from there, you have this Magic Eraser. If you haven't used this, let me tell you, it is truly magic. It will automatically try to identify any unwanted objects. And then if the app gets it right, you just tap on the erase button. Boom, it's just gone. And if it doesn't get it right, you can take matters into your own hands, of course. You just draw over the object with your finger to erase them, tap done, and then save the edited image. Once again, that's Google Photos app, and under the edit button, it's called the Magic Eraser. Hey, stay right where you are. We have your phone calls coming up, as well as how to password protect and encrypt sensitive documents. We're going to talk about website traffic, and of course, you have more of me you don't want to miss, Kim Komando. Kim in Brookings, Oregon. Hi there, Kim.
Hi, Kim. Great to talk to you. I told Marianne, I started listening to you back in the, mid-90s because I had to travel for my job. And so I listened to my radio because we didn't have cell phones to listen to any. So anyway, I was listening to you for a long, long time.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I do. That's cool. So what's going on now?
So I have both an iPhone and an Apple Watch, and I have a horse and I ride regularly, and I trail ride, so we go distance. And, of course, it records all of that as me walking, and I'll be riding along and my watch will tap me and say, record outdoor walk, which makes me laugh. And so I called Apple. They couldn't seem to help me. I was wondering if there was a way to either turn off the steps or if I can tell the watch I'm doing a different kind of exercise, like riding, because it screws up my statistics for how much I actually do walk. And because I'm an older girl, I kind of like to keep track of what I'm really doing.
So when you do go out on the horse and it says record outdoor walk, like how many steps is it counting?
I have no idea, because I will tell you that it usually happens when I get to the first turn on my trail, which I don't think is even a mile, less than a mile.
And it's like, way to go, girlfriend. You just did like 10,000 steps in 15 minutes.
It'll show that, like, at the end, on the days that I ride, it'll show me having done, like, say, 19 or 20,000 steps. And like I told Marianne, I said, I'm 71 years old. There's probably no day I'm going to walk that many steps myself.
You never know. You never know.
That's why I have a horse.
Oh, that's true. Okay. That's true. All right. So this is what you need to do. You go to the workout app on your Apple Watch. Okay.
Okay.
And you're going to scroll, or your phone. You go all the way down to the bottom, but do it on the watch. And then you're just going to say add workout. And then, believe it or not, you're going to scroll all the way down on the list until you find equestrian sports. And then you're going to tap on that, and it's going to be added to your list of workouts. And so next time when it says, what kind of workout are you doing? You're going to say, oh, I'm Kim, and I'm so smart because I call Kim, and I learned about equestrian sports. And so really, that's as easy as that's all it takes. Again, just go to the workout app, scroll all the way to the bottom, tap add workout, and then off of that list, it says equestrian sports. And then you're good to go. And thanks for being another fabulous smart Kim in the world. All right, let's see who's next. Robert in Chicago, Illinois.
And basically, I'll get right to it. My question is concerning voice changing software. I basically do some animation, and I work with puppets, and I film them, and I've been using my family for the different voices, but some of them are getting really reluctant to say, okay, fine, I'm tired of this.
They're saying, Robert, this was fun when it was a little hobby, but now you're like a complete pain in the butt. So
it's getting to be like that. So I want to basically, I write this stuff, and I put down all the scripts and everything, but I end up doing like the voiceovers myself, and then the puppets that I use, or the characters, the animated characters, they're in my voice. And, it doesn't really work that well. So what I'm looking for is something like text-to-speech software. And I've been seeing advertisements on this Speech-a-Lo, and they supposed to give you 30 voices, but I don't know if it's really any good. And then there's a bunch of other voice changing where you take a character, you take your voice and you can change it into somebody else's voice. And I don't want to get too, into the weeds.
Yeah.
But,
it's kind of a fun thing that you're doing. How long have you been doing this?
Well, the animation, I'm still learning the software. It's a Blender software. I don't know if you've heard of it. And there's a learning curve to it. But I've been doing like 3D animation back in the 80s on DOS, and I've been using Autodesk software, and I've been going through the animating part. But the puppet stuff I just started doing right now. I've been writing stuff up, and just a couple of years I've been doing it.
Are you putting it up on YouTube? Or are you doing live performances?
Oh no, there's ways to do that. No, this is basically for my family's. Just basically around Christmas, we put together maybe a half-hour video of snippets, different short little things. Like I got dinosaur versus a dragon, and against the green screen, and they basically are fighting over each other. They're basically fighting, and then a meteor comes down, and they both end up laying on their backs, and that's kind of like, just crazy stuff like that.
And then do you say, like, after that, do you say, like, Merry Christmas?
No. Well, yes, I would, but this is the way the monsters ended, or something like that.
Oh, okay. All right.
And then it's a fun thing, but it's just for my family's use. Now I might make a bunch of DVDs and hand them out to my relatives or friends or whatever when I'm done, just in case if it turns out really well. That's what I was going to do.
All right, awesome. Okay,
but it's the voice stuff I'm looking for.
All right, let's talk about it. Okay, there's a couple of sites that I want you to check out. I hate giving these out on the air. So, because every time I give out a website on the air, Robert, somebody writes me a nasty email saying, "Oh, Kim Komando, that just led to a porno site or an OnlyFans webpage." I'm like,
no, just email email them to me.
I will, because otherwise I'm going to get nasty grams, and it's always like not me. I'm like, I'm sorry, you wrote it down wrong. But there's actually one that's $19 a month, and you get 60 basic voices, you get 10 languages. You get commercial usage rights if that's what you want. They have, I don't know, thousands of soundtracks. There's also another one that gives you 20 voices and then 3 voices with 20 emotions. And so basically what we're going to do is it's like a jump start. So you're not going to be sitting there trying to do this all the way.
Well, I've been trying different ones, but they limit you when you're doing the free trial.
Oh,
like
sure.
I can only do like 15 seconds worth of something.
Yeah.
And some of them are really cost. I got one here that's like 143 annual, and that's a real good one. I mean, but it's real expensive. And there's a couple other ones that are tied to software that I already have, and I've been going in there and trying them, and some of them are free, some of them are good, but there are a lot of times they're very tinny or robotic, and they really don't accomplish what I want.
That's the problem when you start talking about AI voices, that they have a tendency to sound robotic 100% until it gets trained, or you want to just put like some really extreme emotions in that AI. So instead of talking like this, you talk like this, you go down, you go up, and you give it different variations and before the AI actually gets it. 2 names, Murph and Lovo, in case you want to look them up, folks. But again, if you get to a porno site, don't blame it on me. Robert, hang on the line, and we're going to send you links to these, and thank you for your call. And maybe you should do a puppet like with Kim Komando taking over the world. And then that would be fun. And then you could say, Happy New Year. I have to say that's one of the more unique calls that we've gotten on the show, a guy doing a puppet show. But you know what? I bet you it's just a lot of fun. All right. We all know that having data on our competitors is really good for our business acumen. But how do you get that information? Well, if you're trying to figure out how your competitor's website is doing as compared to yours, there's a website out there called SimilarWeb. And what it does is it will look at the data that it can get and surmise about your competitor's website, and then you can compare it to other websites. So what you have to do is visit this site, and you can plug in any URL. Now, of course, there's a paid account, and then that's where you have other features. But the tool's competitive tracker feature is precisely what you're looking for, because what it does, it summarizes your competitor's incoming web traffic by source. So you can see exactly where they're getting their traffic from. And it's really interesting because maybe it's search engine optimization. Maybe they're getting all their traffic from Facebook. And then you have referral sources, and then you can see exactly what they're doing. And the data is directly measured through first-party analytics. Now, according to the site, what they say is that they use tens of billions of digital signals and blah, 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 200 top data scientists and AI, whatever this is. Bottom line is this, is that the data is there. Now, is it 100% accurate? I don't think so, because when you look up my website, I can tell you that the data is not 100% accurate. But it's pretty darn close. So before you start paying for this service, just go ahead and just try it out. And I bet you may be able to get all the information that you need for free and to give you some idea. But if you need to dig deeper into your competitor website, then that's where you need to pay. I think it's like $200 a year. If you want more information about it, again, hit the website, komando.com, and just type in the phrase competitors website traffic, and it will just pop right up for you. All right, still to come, we have more of your phone calls. And then later on, I want to talk about if you have a really important document, it's a sensitive document, it's confidential, and how you should be putting this through the email system. Because if you just go ahead and send a Word doc through the email, it's like putting a postcard in the mail. Everybody can take a look at it. So you have to know the right way to password protect it and also encrypt it. So stay right where you are here at the Kim Komando Show. All right, before we go back to your phone calls, I want to talk a little bit about the Kim Komando newsletters, because we've had email newsletters for so many years. And it was about, really about 6 months ago now, I was like, we have to blow these up. They have to be better. They have to be more informative. They've got to be fun, and they can't have so many ads. And that's when we came up with our newsletter called The Current, that you can sign up and get it for free right now at getkim.com. Just one advertiser every single day. And you can read the tech news less than 5 minutes a day. You get 2 emails a day. That's it. and head over to getkim.com. Over 400,000 folks get our newsletters, and they love them every single day. And we have folks at NASA, Harvard professors, MIT professors. We've got small business owners, regular folks. I mean, everybody's really digging these newsletters. So if you're not getting it, make sure that you do it right now while you're thinking about it. Head over to getkim.com. And it comes with my spam-free guarantee. I'm not going to sell, lease, distribute your email address to anybody ever. Once again, that address is getkim.com. Getkim.com. Jeff in Pittsburgh.
I'm having issues with debit cards being opened in my name, savings accounts being opened in my name, in one case, an EIDL loan application being submitted in my name.
Annoying.
And I'm trying to stop this from happening. I have all my credit reports locked, but a lot of these things are happening even though my reports are locked because they don't require credit checks. So I'm trying to get the genie back into the bottle, basically.
Yeah, that's tough. Wait, when did all this start happening?
About a year ago.
Any clue on where it started or how it started?
Well, I know I was part of the Equifax data breach, but then again, I think that was half the country was part of that.
Yeah, I think we all were. You're right. Yeah, we were. And so it's happening primarily just with online. Are you getting anything in the mail?
Yeah, I actually get, the debit cards show up in the mail. On the EIDL loan, I got a call from someone at the government who said, they're trying to confirm something in the application. I said, I didn't put it in an application. But yeah, I get confirmation like letters. And like I said, I got 2 of the debit cards in the mail. And I have, credit monitoring going on. That alerted me a couple of times as well.
And then you said you have everything frozen?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, with the mail, you need to take that down to the Postal Service and tell them you suspect mail fraud.
Okay.
File a case with that. The FTC has a website called identitytheft.gov, and that's where you can file a report with them. So they give you a report. So if any open accounts, you can show that to close any fraudulent accounts. I would definitely sign up for identity theft protection. Whichever one that you want. Of course, the biggest is LifeLock, because they will actually go in and help you put some of these safeguards in place. And that's really what it is. And if you sign up for LifeLock or one of the other ones, is that they're going to give you a person assigned to your account. And there are probably bells and whistles and switches that they can pull on your Social Security number and on your account to make sure that no identity theft happens. You might want to file a police report because you are dealing with financial institutions and credit agencies.
Yes, I did that for one of these, but they really didn't do a whole lot. But I did do that once. It's
really just to have it in case you need it. I mean, it's not like they're going to go try to hunt this person down. But you have a complete nightmare on yourself. You do.
Yes.
I don't envy. I wish there was some magical digital goddess wand I could come across and say, Jeff, everything's swell in your life. But unfortunately, it's not the case. This is going to be a long, hard journey. But I would start by really signing up for an identity theft protection program that would monitor your personal information and alert you to any potential signs of identity theft. And they also have recovery services in case your identity does get stolen. But really what we want to do is prevent it from the beginning. Once again, that website from the FTC is identitytheft.gov. And of course, you're going to monitor all your financial accounts. That goes without saying. And I'm talking about your bank, your credit cards. And if anything happens, of course, you're going to alert those folks automatically. But boy, I don't envy you. This is going to be a really, really hard road. And that's why this is a case where identity theft protection may be worth that monthly nut. Jeff, thank you for your call. Boy, now that's a nightmare scenario, isn't it? Oh, my gosh, I'd hate to have that happen to me. All right. Imagine that you kept all your personal thoughts right on your computer, and if someone were able to read all that. So that's how easy it is for somebody to read a document that you're just sending through email. And maybe it's just being stored on your computer or on your laptop, and someone can just go right over and they can just open it up. Okay. The simplest way to make sure that someone can't open a doc on your PC is you just give it a password. It literally only takes a second. Both Microsoft Office and Google Docs let you password protect documents. And they have a help button right on the menu bar where that will give you the exact steps. Okay. But you want to use not just a password. You want to use encrypt with password, because That's the difference. Now, for Microsoft Office, a person can't open a document or view the files without the password, and Google does that too. But what you want to do is make sure that that document is encrypted so that as it travels around the internet, not just has a password, that it's actually encrypted or it's scrambled up. So when somebody gets it on the other end, that's when they see exactly what's inside that file. So again, not just a password. The command that you want is encrypt with password. All right. If you learned just one thing, I want you to tell 3 friends about the Kim Komando Show and the Kim Komando Day podcast. And you can find me always at Komando.com.